I am building the classic workbench with plans from Benchcrafted. I bought their plans from them, their measured drawings, and their leg vise hardware. And this is the process. So this is some red oak that I got from a local scrapwood sawmill guy for $1.75 a board foot. Not too bad. He had it in his shop for I think 2 years, and this is 8/4, and check it out. This is reads at 10% moisture, and pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna get started on this classic workbench made out of red oak. Here I am bringing the boards in. These things were really heavy. All different widths. The Benchcrafted directions, you can download those right off of their website, and they are fabulous. Step by step, very detailed, obviously by somebody who's made a workbench many times over. They're able to catch some of the mistakes you might make and give good suggestions. Benchcrafted also sells you the leg vise hardware, and once again the leg vise hardware is very expensive, and the leg vise build is difficult, but the hardware is really worth it because it's such good quality. You end up making most of the leg vise out of your own wood with these quality parts, and the directions once again are really detailed with lots of very good suggestions and super helpful, and if you follow step by step you'll come out successful. I used biscuits to line up the boards for the top, and there was quite a bit of planing and joining to try to get that top nice and level. So you have to start with a really thick piece of wood. I think I might have started with 4.5 to get down to about 3 3/4 for the top and getting it straight and flat. Now I'm building the workbench upside down on these sawhorses, which is a little confusing when you're making the legs. You got to make sure that you know which is the front, which is the back, where you're going to trough out these mortises and really label all these pieces of wood, or else you're going to end up remaking a leg that takes a lot of time to chop out the mortises on. So I was super careful with that and caught myself getting ready to make a mistake over and over again. One of my favorite books is Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Pirsig. It's a story about a man who rides his motorcycle across the United States with his son riding on the back. And as he rides, he gets philosophical about quality and working on his motorcycle. In Robert Pirsig's book, as he works on his own motorcycle and he watches other people working on motorcycles and working with their hands, he talks about the concept of quality and people's quest for quality in light of things that are called gumption traps. And gumption traps are events or mindsets that can cause a person to lose enthusiasm and become discouraged from starting or continuing a project. And when a person has gumption, that means that they have a combination of common sense, and shrewdness, and a sense of initiative. But as you're working on a project and you have small failures and obstacles that come along the way, these are known as gumption traps. One type of gumption trap is perfectionism. It's the idea that you want to make a perfect project. But of course that's impossible for many reasons. First of all, in woodworking you're working with a tree that starts out being round and you're trying to make it perfectly square and flat and straight, even though it's kind of wet and it might do a little bit of bending and twisting as you're working on it. So you have to make that compromise. Your skills might not be perfect, and that's one of the main reasons for doing a project like this, is so that you can improve your skills. And usually you make a lot of mistakes, and then when you correct those mistakes, your skills improve. Screws can snap off while you're working on a project, and that can be super discouraging and compromise the perfectionism of the project. You can get planer snipe, which is where you tear out a little bump in the project as you're working on it. You have knots and rot in wood and all kinds of things that say, hey, I'm not completely perfect. But these gumption traps are not something you should let stop you from continuing. One technique I learned to improve my skills on more is the sharpening of planer blades and chisels. I have a Work Sharp 2000, I think it's called, and I don't think it matters what system you have, but pick a system and just try to improve your abilities with it. So now that I have been sharpening these tools for a long period of time, I'm pretty good at the sharpening. So my chisels and planer blades are sharp. They are not scary sharp, but I don't want to spend all of my time sharpening and not working on the bench. So I have raised my level, but there's still plenty of room to grow.